Dean Eisenhower, thanks for having me. It's a bit unfair that, can everybody hear me okay, by the way? Father Kavanaugh, who I had for a class 100 years ago, looks exactly the same as he did then. and I'm way older looking, so not fair at all. If we had room up here, I'd make the students move up to the front, but thanks for coming. I kind of tailored this a little bit to the students. I want to talk a little bit about the industry and careers, and it's a little bit of a kind of a digital media 101, and I kind of use the word digital and online in the same with the same meaning. So I'm just going to go through. This is interactive. We're in digital media. Stop and ask questions along the way. If you don't understand something, or if you have questions about something, I'd love to kind of answer questions as we go. So I work for Yahoo. I've been there about a year. I'm based in New York. I live in Detroit, so I'm on airplanes all the time. I grew up about less than a mile from University of Detroit here. So as we were saying during the lunch right before this, I just spent a lot of my youth running around the campus. Both my parents went here, so I'm just thrilled to be back here. So let's see if I can get this to work. So just break it out into just a couple of sections. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the media business today, why marketers are choosing to market their brands online, and then I'll get into some of the specifics around some of the big things that we do, search and video and mobile and social, and some things on ad networks and targeting, and then kind of a mishmash in section 3, talk about what's kind of happening in 2012 and beyond, and maybe a little bit about Yahoo, and then I want to talk just a little bit about career opportunities and things like that. So if that's good with you guys, we'll get into it. So how many people do this anymore? Sit together with a bag of popcorn in front of a TV set with your family? Doesn't happen all that often. I think the real world looks more like this. And I looked at this slide. I'm not sure exactly. I studied it. I don't know if that's a game on TV that he's watching or an Xbox game or a Wii game, but he's got the laptop there, a couple of devices. One of those is probably a cell phone. It looks like there's an old DVR sitting there in the corner. But this is really what it's all about these days. It's multitasking. It's time shifting. It's bringing media to you when you want it, and doing multiple things at a time. So that really poses a challenge for marketers. How do you get people's attention when they're very fragmented, when they're time shifting, when they're not looking at commercials, and we're doing multiple things at once. This is just a slide on an evolution of distractions. It wasn't too long ago that this is what the average household looked like. You pretty much had a television set and a DVD player and maybe a computer or a laptop in the house. And all of a sudden, HD TV rolls in, and DVRs and TiVos, and now interactive TV is the latest rage. And then, of course, we have gaming systems, Nintendo and Xbox and PlayStation. And, of course, personal gaming. You can't get by without personal gaming systems. Followed by every type of mobile device and smartphone available. And finally, tablets, which is, I think tablet penetration is about 10% of adults right now. So really, you look at this and you wonder, there's no wonder why nobody's sitting down in front of their television set, or reading the Sunday newspaper as a family, or listening to a radio show together. It's all about kind of fragmentation and distraction and getting your own media when you want it at your own time. So this, just a couple of stats, and I'll throw some stats at you and just stop me. Some of these are eye charts, but there's 290 million people said we have at least one TV in the household. There's only 312 million people in the United States, so virtually everybody does. I think the numbers were 98.7% of households had at least one television, and it dropped last year for the first time in 20 years down to 97.8% or something like that. So it's pretty much ubiquitous. You can see all the things that kind of attach into a television set, DVD players and video game consoles and everything else. But then the mobile side, of course, had explosive growth. People 13 plus, there's 232 million mobile phones out there. Again, that's probably about the population if you take up people under 13 of the United States, meaning that everybody's got a mobile phone. And then work and home PCs, and then just accessing the mobile web. So it's no wonder why this distraction kind of continues. This is a really interesting slide to me. I know some of you in the room remember All in the Family, right? 78, 79. So a 30.5 rating on an average Thursday night. So that's households with TV. That means 30% of those households were tuned in to All in the Family. Just 10 years later, The Cosby Show, the most popular show on TV, dropped down to a 25 rating. 10 years later, ER, 17.8 rating. And just, was that last year or the year before, American Idol, the most popular show on television, less than a 10 rating. So, so what are marketers to do, and where are they going when all this is going on? It's something that I deal with in my business called share shift. So marketers are share shifting dollars out of traditional media and into media that are growing, i.e. Digital media. So this is, we take this slide in front of marketers all the time. What it does is it shows percentage, the gray bars are the percentage of time spent in that media. And then the darker bars are percentage of advertising budget spent on those media. So you can see in the area of print, only 12% of people's media consumption time is spent on print, and marketers are putting 33% of their ad budgets against print. So that to us is a problem, a disparity that's going to correct itself over time. Radio, you can see a little bit of different story. 17% of media consumption time is on radio. Only 11% of the ad budgets are going there. TV is getting about its fair share, but when you look at digital media on the far right there, 36% of all of our media time is spent online, our media consumption time. And it gets even greater if you're more affluent and younger, just because of the way the world's moving. And only 18% of media budgets are spent online. So, if you're talking about kind of career opportunities, this is going to continue to grow. There's going to be more and more marketers trying to reach consumers online as we go forward. So this is just a chart that illuminates that. The online universe this year, or last year, was $32 million. I didn't know I had a little, I can use this actually. Didn't know you guys could see that. And it's projected to grow to 62 million by 2016. So there's going to be tremendous growth continued in the ad spending, in the ad digital landscape. This is just a quick chart that shows ad spending by format. You can see here that search is responsible for about half of all spending. We'll talk about search a little bit. These are banners that everybody kind of knows what they are. This is online video, et cetera. And over here is a chart that shows the percentage of growth. And I'll get into these just in a little more detail later. But video, as you can see, is expected to grow tremendously over the next 4 or 5 years. This is video advertising and video content formats online. So why do marketers move online? So there's a whole bunch of reasons. Online these days delivers scale. It's big now. It didn't used to always be big, but has the ability to reach millions of people in a day. It's got the sight, sound, and motion. So really the sight of print media and the sound of radio and the motion of television and the ability to go interactive with it. So you tie all that stuff together. It's a very compelling creative canvas for advertisers. Everything we do in digital media is measurable. I'll talk about some of that later. We've got targeting opportunities. You know exactly when you spend $1 on digital media, exactly who's seeing that ad. There's really no time or space constraints. You don't have to confine your ad to 30 seconds on television or a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in a magazine. You can just go deeper and wider in digital media. Wide creative canvas. I'll show you a couple examples of that. It's a powerful driver of search. If you're online, it's a very easy behavior to move over and search for something. So if you see an ad for a shirt that you like, click, search for that ad, find out where it is, and go ahead and buy online. So it's a much quicker move from being convinced to do something and kind of enacting that behavior. And then we in the digital media business never say that it's not just digital. All these different media really should work together, and it really provides a great complement to TV and other traditional media. So these are the 5 biggest digital media players out there today. Everybody should know Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, and AOL. Combined, this is what I was talking about reach before. It's 182 million unique people per day they're reaching. So if you're trying to market an automobile or toothpaste and you want to get the message out quickly, this is a very, very good place to be. So I'm going to see if these work. I talked about the creative canvas, and everybody here if you spent time online, you've seen good ads probably and bad ads. And ads are just they're a necessary evil for the medium, because for the most part, content is free online, right? So the people that are creating the content have to get paid somehow, so we sell advertising against it. And I don't think advertising has been done very well over the last 15 or 20 years. They've been pretty much boxes that are annoying or pop-ups that kind of interrupt your experience. Even with video, when you want to watch now a short form video, you're usually subject to watching a commercial online. And I'm sure everybody here has had terrible, commercial experiences online, but there are some really good ones too. If you do it right, let's see if this works. This is an ad for Pirates of the Caribbean that ran on the Yahoo homepage. As somebody clicked on, there's sound that goes along with this, but you can see there's lots of motion. If you're into the movie, it's really pretty creative. You can kind of click into the ad and click on the full experience and see movie trailers and things like that. This This is an ad for one of our competitors for Coca-Cola on Yahoo or on AOL. Oh, well, take my word for it. Snow comes down and a beautiful little hourglass pops up, and everybody's happy with the creative there. And then this, 1994, this was the first online ad ever run. And does anybody in the room have any idea who the advertiser was here? Is this little 468 by 60 banner? It was for AT&T. And interestingly, they didn't even have their name in the ad. It's just they got people to kind of reach over here and click here, and you ended up here at hotwired.com, which was Wired Magazine's website. It was the first digital ad ever run. It was almost 20 years ago. And I talked about search a little bit. This is, these are a couple of stats here. So this ad right here is for Weight Watchers. I'm not even sure what the site is. But when somebody sees this ad for Weight Watchers, and then they go over to search for something having to do with Weight Watchers, this could be dieting in January. After being exposed to that display ad, you're 136% more likely to search for that ad online, 86% more likely to click on a sponsored ad. I'll show you what those are, and 140% more likely to click on an organic link. So this is why when you're marketers, you kind of really try to understand a balance of, hey, I'm going to put a brand message in front of somebody, but I also have to be there with search, be ready to deliver a search message when somebody's is ready to shop. These are just a few of the digital formats I want to run through real quickly. Stop me here if you don't understand something. We'll go fairly quickly, but search, I talked about this being about half of the digital ad spend out there, and still expected to grow. It's about $15 billion industry right now, going to 30 in 2016. So if any of you guys are looking for careers, this would be a good place to look. We talked a little bit about search during our little pre-meeting here. There's really two kinds of search. There's what we call organic results, and there's paid results. So what the search companies try to do is when you search for something online, they try to deliver the most relevant answer for what you're looking for. And then they try to balance that with who's paying them the most for the ad. So it's all algorithmically driven, and there's a combination. Everybody knows now when they go, they typed in the word cell phone here, the first 2 or 3 links on here are usually a different color, and they're ads, right? That first one goes to, well, it goes to AT&T.com. They must have been buying that first ad. The second one goes to Sprint, and the third one goes to Wirefly.com. Then you get into the organic results. And if there was no advertising on search, these would be the most popular or relevant results based on the algorithms and what people are searching for that should surface, right? So that first one on there is, I can't even read it. Is that Wikipedia? Yeah, so meaning that most people, and it's based on your prior behaviors. So if millions of people search for this term and click on Wikipedia, that will rise in the rankings, the algorithmic rankings. Then over here on the right side, these are also pay per click advertisers. So the way this works is you bid on a search term. So if you're Chrysler, and every time somebody types in the search term camping and you want a Jeep ad to pop up there, you will bid on the search term camping, and you'll try to bid more than the other people that are bidding on that search term. And it's a marketplace. And then when somebody clicks on the ad, you pay for the click. Okay. These are the big search engines out there. Everybody knows Google. They have about 60% of the market. Bing is Microsoft's search engine. They have about 15%. Yahoo search has about 15% as well. Combined, it's actually on the same platform. So Bing and Yahoo both use the Bing platform. It's about 30%. So those are the big players in search. The unique value search, there's a bunch of them on here, but the most important one, just a second, is obviously when you're searching for something, you're ready to buy, right? You're engaged. You're an engaged audience at the moment, and if you're looking for a car, if you're looking for a shirt, if you're looking for anything online, to be advertising when somebody's in the mood and shopping, specifically shopping, that's a really good place to be. Other good reasons for using search: it's highly trackable and measurable, as I talked about before. You can manage the return on investment based on what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to build a brand? Are you trying to sell units of something? And I think I talked about this before too. It's an auction marketplace, so it's a very, very efficient way to advertise. Video, this is projected to grow at even faster pace than search. Online video, how many people here watch video online? Should be about 60% of you if the national average is right. So this can be anything from a short form video to a full run show on Hulu or something like that. This is an interesting stat. just today, 126 people will watch 1.5 billion videos. And that is more than 16 Oprah Winfrey episodes and more than 4 American Idol episodes. This is a screenshot of our Yahoo screen, which is the place where we aggregate all the video that runs on Yahoo and all of our partner sites. It looks a little bit like Hulu and a little bit like YouTube and others, but there's a huge, huge effort now that we have the bandwidth and we actually have better creative, and there's licensing fees that are being worked out to get more and more video online. This is one reason it can be more impactful than TV. So these are, general recall, premium online video versus television. Obviously, it's better. Same thing with brand recall, message recall, likability. Anybody know why that would be? Why would an online video ad be more effective than a television ad at generating some of these metrics? Great.
Would it be because you on TV you have to see like multiple ads, whereas if you're watching a show online you just have to see one ad at a time?
That's probably a good part of it. I think people know when those commercial pods come up on TV, right? You get up and go get a Coke or go to the bathroom, whatever. That's for sure part of it. Yeah.
Maybe if Yahoo sort of partners with like Facebook or something else online, and your friends can see what you watch, and people can see it that way.
You're getting way into the weeds. It's actually true. There's all kinds of social implications of what you watch and what kind of content you consume. Absolutely. I mean, the big part of the reason is that the experience, when you're watching television, it's like we call it a lean back experience. You're usually in a chair on a couch, your feet are up, you may be doing something else. Digitally, you're usually leaning forward. So you're sitting at a desk, or you're sitting, you're sitting at a table and you've got a laptop in front of you, and you're just going to naturally be more engaged when something pops up, right? So that's a big part of it. Just a couple words on mobile. Mobile is projected to grow faster than video. By 2016, I think the total here, this 49% compounded annual growth rate. You can see how quickly mobile spending is going to scale. This is interesting. So this bottom line is tablet usage, right? So 10.8% of the US population now has tablets. That's going to rise to almost 30% in a couple of years. This middle bar is smartphones, and the top bar is just overall mobile phone users. And if you look around the world, and everybody knows our economy is just getting much more global, these numbers are staggering. When you look at number of smartphones in use, I think it's 5 billion smartphones in use around the world today. It's more than there are toothbrushes in the world. So smartphones are everywhere. And then this is compared to a year ago. Consumers say they're spending more time on their mobile devices. I think this is pretty clear to everybody, but mobile internet, watching online videos and mobile, texting and talking versus where's that behavior coming from? It's coming from the traditional media, things like reading a newspaper, reading a magazine, or listening to radio. Mobile behaviors, this is basically why I defer to some of the students here. What do you guys do on your mobile phones these days? All of the above. You're probably texting and emailing, searching, listening to music, probably have some apps on there that you're managing, your banking or whatever. You're reading articles, watching videos. Big new pushes on shopping, kind of the, I'm in a store, people know I'm in a store, they know what my device is, they know what my behavior was previously, they can maybe send me an online coupon when I'm in store, I can look up a recipe or things like that, and obviously navigating as well. Biggest consumer behavior here by far is still email. Email is the #1 mobile behavior, mostly because of corporate email. And then mobile really provides a great, it used to be you could only run little tiny flat ads on mobile, but now there's mobile-rich media, there's mobile video. You can actually do quite a bit on a mobile device, on a smartphone. So this is a little leprechaun who's chasing around. You got to kind of click on him. This is an ad that actually, blood simulates kind of dropping down here. An ad for, what's the name of this show? True Blood, exactly. And then this is a click to call. So when you're on shopping maybe at Best Buy, they'll give you an opportunity to say, hey, rather than text, just click right here and we'll connect you with an associate. So lots of ways to use the creative canvas with mobile. So social, this has probably got the most buzz, the biggest growth area of digital media. This is just showing that spending will grow 54% just in the next 2 years. This is a more compelling chart to me. 1.4 billion people around the world will use social networks this year. Obviously, Facebook's a huge, huge part of this, but there's others. There's Twitter, and there's Tumblr, and there's a whole bunch of small players that even Groupon's in that mix, and Foursquare that do kind of social utility, anything to share. We at Yahoo are heavily into social as well, because as people now are consuming content like we just talked before, we're giving people an opportunity to share that content they're reading with somebody, but also to see what their friends. We're importing the Facebook, your social graph now into the pages of Yahoo as you're reading, so you can actually see what your friends are reading and kind of start a conversation around that. But 1.4 billion, I think there's 7.2 billion people in the world, so that's 20% of the world is on social networks right now and growing dramatically. And then this is just how, it used to be all PC-based. 97% of people say they go on to Facebook or another social network on their computer, but also 37% on mobile, 3% on iPod, so people are obviously doing multiple at a time. You'll be at home on your PC maybe, you'll be on the road on, checking your Facebook or Twitter feeds through your mobile phone. Pay don't earn, this is a, from a marketing standpoint, this has gotten a ton of buzz lately, the whole concept of pay don't earn. Have people heard this before? Do you guys know what this is? So the concept here is if you're a marketer and you're trying to market a brand like Chrysler or Coca-Cola, sometimes you have to go out and buy media, right? So you'll go to a television station or a online site and you'll pay to actually buy an ad, right? That's called paid media. The owned media, most companies now have all kinds of assets. They have, if you're Coca-Cola, you own thousands of Coke distributor, the Coke machines, right? That could be media for you. You own sales associates, you own stores, you own point of purchase, you own every kind of communication that you would do internally provides you with a media outlet. So that's kind of what they call, that's our own media. When you get customers actually talking about you and sharing your brand and sharing it with others, and it doesn't cost you anything, you've just got your brand to the point where they like you, they like your brand message or your positioning, they start sharing it, they call that earned media. So the whole concept with social right now is to try to get as much earned media as you can. That's why people like Coca-Cola and Chrysler are all about wanting you to friend them on Facebook or talk about them on Twitter or create viral videos that get shared across YouTube. So this is a big it's a big part of the whole measurement chain with media, especially around social. And then the last area is just really ad networks and targeting. This is pretty simple. I won't spend a ton of time here, but let's take a guess. How many websites do you think are in the world today? What would be a guess? I'll tell you this. In December, the internet ran out of space. It was actually created as a limitless technology. They had to go to a new technology that could accommodate more websites. They ran out in December. There's technical terminology that goes with this, but we're fine now. We launched a new underpinning technology of the internet in June of I think it was June of last year. So now we can, the capacity is again unlimited until we reach that limit again. So how about a guess? How many websites are out there? Yeah, 10 billion. There's 40 billion. 40 billion websites out there. So what a lot of companies do now is they'll aggregate websites that look alike and put them together and sell audiences across those websites. So you may get a whole bunch of sports sites that look alike, and a company will come in and aggregate all those sports sites and then sell audience across those sports sites. So if you're an advertiser, the question here is, do I need my message to get on a certain website in a certain context, or do I just want to reach a certain audience? Do I want sports people, or do I care that it's running on Sports Illustrated, right? So it's spawned a whole new business, and there's lots of networks out there. This is the ad network space. Google has thousands and thousands of websites that they aggregate. If you've got a mom and pop website, you can have Google actually put ads on your website, and they'll pay you for it. And so they package up all that inventory and they sell it to marketers. AOL has a company called Ad.com. We have a company called Right Media Exchange. The interesting one here to me is AT&T. So this is a marketer actually that runs their own ad network. So if you're an AT&T customer, you might have an AT&T phone where they can send messages to you or advertise to you. You might have the AT&T Uverse channel at home through cable, where they've got channels and ways that they can advertise to you. If you got their digital offering in your house, they've got something called AT&T.net, which is your homepage if you're an AT&T customer. So they're aggregating all of their media inside of AT&T, and they're outselling it as media. So it's pretty interesting. So targeting, this is to me the most exciting area of digital media, the place I think there's going to be the most growth. I told the guys before we met here today, just at Yahoo, we have the most trafficked web page in the world, the Yahoo homepage. 35 million people a day come to Yahoo to start their day. We serve up 13 million different versions of that. So a third of the people coming to Yahoo will see a different version than everybody else based on what you clicked on last time you were there, what you read, what your search behavior was, what we know about you from a registration standpoint. So it gets a little bit creepy that way, but you start to notice if you're a Justin Bieber fan and you click on Justin Bieber articles all the time, when we start running a Justin Bieber article on the homepage through our daily scroll of different articles that run there, that'll pop up on your screen. Or if you're from Detroit and you click what your zip code is, you'll start to surface more, more Detroit kind of content. This happens to me. I work in New York quite a bit. They know I'm from Detroit because I haven't cleaned my cookies yet. We have a little place called Trending Now, the hottest the hottest things that are happening around the internet. And for me, invariably, 3 or 4 of those will be on Detroit, either Detroit sports or Detroit politics. So we can target a customer by geography. We know where, we don't know your name, but we know where your computer is registered and logging in from. Device targeting, we can tell if you're on a PC, if you're on a cellular phone, on a tablet. Demographics, we got a lot of demographic data. There's companies that actually sell this. We can tell if you're a woman or a man, basically how old, presence of kids in the household based on prior behavior. Behavioral targeting, so this is really big too. So this would be based on the behavior that you've displayed online, either what you've searched on, which sites you visited. If you visited, automotive shopping sites 3 times in the last month, and you searched on, 2012 Jeep Liberty, we're pretty sure you're in the market for a car, right? So we package those up and sell those to car advertisers to try to find in-market shoppers. We don't know your name. We just know that your computer has exhibited that behavior. So that's what we're coming back to you and targeting you. So site retargeting, if you went to a site, we know that you came to a site, so maybe we can serve up a message to you after you go somewhere else. Search retargeting, if you searched on Jeep, we can find you either on our sites or across these network of sites. And then personalized retargeting, which is kind of a combination of, we know which site, we know what your behavior is, we know what search is, and we can really, really hone messages in. And this is why marketers, really, really love digital media, just the targeting opportunities. Now, go ahead. Yep.
Relative to universities, do you find that college and universities are changing the way that they're marketing to try and attract students using it?
I think, this would certainly be a good way to do it. Like, you can hone in on geographies. I know that we as marketers, if somebody's looking to attract people that are at universities, so to sell cell phones, we could come and sell the EDU domain, right? So you could sell everybody that has an EDU address in Michigan, for instance, and we'd hit all the college kids in Michigan with a cell phone message. So we have things like proximity targeting. So we could go to Target, who's working at Target this summer, and sell them an ad campaign that hits people within a 2-mile radius of their store, or a 3-mile or 5-mile radius of the store. So pretty scary what you can do here. Now there's technologies that actually serve up smart ads and smart creative. So we can, based on anything we know about you, we have a machine that can dynamically create ads. So let's say we're marketing a car. I'm sorry to keep coming back to this example. So Jeeps, but let's say we know we want to market Jeep Grand Cherokees in the Northeast because it snows a lot there and they're 4-wheel drives. And we want to do the Wranglers in the South, and we want to do Liberties in California. As people come in, we can change the headline, change the ad based on an individual basis on where people are coming in from. So the whole concept of smart ads starts to get very, very highly targeted. And then just a couple of trends on 2012, and then I'll break for some questions. But eMarketer, some of these screens are looking alike. eMarketer is one of the sources in our industry that kind of predicts the future. And these are just a couple of big ones that are probably intuitive to you, but U.S. smartphone users are going to continue to increase last year versus this year. Go from 90 million to 107 million. That second one is e-readers, so 33 million to 46 million. U.S. tablet users, this is exploding, 34 million to 55 million. This is watching online video. So this is millions of online video users going from 158 to 169. U.S. mobile and video, this is watching video on your mobile device, 45 million to 55 million. And this is just the ad spend, where marketer dollars are going to kind of continue to go going forward. So something I look at pretty closely. Just breaks it down a little bit further, kind of by format. If you look at social, we talked a lot about that. Things like social sharing, social buzz, and conversations around content. If I know that you guys are having a conversation, or you're having a conversation with your social graph around travel, it'd be great if I was American Airlines to put an ad in front of you, or Delta Airlines. Mobile, there's new formats. I think you've seen on the tablet. Apple's pushing HTML5, which is a format that provides for a lot richer content and video experiences. Mobile rich media, targeted coupons. This is going to explode as well. Again, to be able to walk into a store and call up a coupon or tie, your loyalty cards to your cell phones, and now that we have things like mobile wallets, so you can walk into a store and actually pay with your cell phone, tie it back to a PayPal account or something like that. Video and content, we're starting to see more long-form content, so more and more of the rights holders are pushing their long-form video and shows online, and speed online is allowing us to actually show that in better ways. New ad formats. Right now, like everybody, like I do, I hate those little ads that run before I watch content, but maybe there's pods that you can put in the middle, or maybe there's ads that you can run around the content. This whole idea of living ads, so this would be where this is more along lines of interactive TV. So you're watching the television, you're able to call up the internet on the side of that broadcast. So if you're watching a football game, you can actually get stats and things and go to different sites. What if you're watching a commercial, you're able to stop the commercial, click on the shirt the guy's wearing or the woman's wearing, see how much it costs, see where you can get it, go online and buy it right there, and then go back to your original programming. So that's this whole idea of interactivity with ads and click to buy is really big. Measurement is going to continue to be big. More real-time analysis. This year, obviously, we have the Olympics and the elections, which are both going to be heavily digital, and the whole concept of cloud computing. And I know you guys know what that is. If you have a lot of music and you have a lot of things that you store, you don't have to do it on your home devices now. There's places you can put that and come back and access it later. Just a couple of things on Yahoo. Just because I'm from Yahoo, I thought I'd give a tiny sales pitch. We're a number 1 or 2 property in content around the world. We've got about 700 million people that come to our sites every day. About 200 of those are in the United States. The rest are outside of the United States. We have 10 number 1 properties in the U.S., including sports and news and finance and OMG and things like that. I talked a little bit about data. So video's big. We're heavily invested in video. We've got lots of shows that run, regular shows that run on Yahoo right now. Most of it is informed by data. So we talked about this before as well. We had a new show running called The Ultimate Proposal. And this is a show that kind of tracks crazy people that hire people to actually stage their proposal for them so when they get married, it's something spectacular. And apparently you can hire this service out these days. But we noticed every time we ran an ad on Yahoo that had anything to do with somebody getting a married proposal, the traffic would spike through the roof. So use some of that data and some search data to actually create a show using a celebrity that follows people around that are doing incredible proposals. So, and then I talked about this personalization of the homepage. We have 13 million different versions a day. We also are a company of big events. So where we play in the ecosystem with things like Twitter and Facebook now, when news breaks, it's it gets distributed unbelievably fast, right? When Whitney Houston dies or some other unexpected event happens, Twitter feeds light up and Facebook feeds light up. What do people do as soon as they find out, as soon as you get your text message or your tweet that Whitney Houston dies? You have to go somewhere to get the story, right? So people tend to come to Yahoo. Last year we had 3 consecutive events that set all of our traffic records. The first one was the Japanese tsunami and earthquake. That an unfortunate event, but people came in droves to Yahoo around the world to figure out what happened, what they could do. That was followed up by the royal wedding. We had unbelievable global traffic across the royal wedding. Again, big event. Followed by the capture and death of bin Laden. It was like month after month after month, we set records. I think we had a top 10 record day with Whitney Houston's death just a couple weeks ago. I talked about this already. This is just how we gather insights. We know kind of who the audience is, and then we create programming based on those insights. Talked about connected TV. Again, this is a phenomenon. Not only Yahoo does this, Google does this, others do. If you guys are in the market for a television set these days, you go in and everybody's got an ITV offering, which is going to make the viewing experience. Now you don't have to have your cell phone or your laptop or your iPad in front of you as you're watching. You're controlling it from your what do you call those things? Remote control. And then this is just a really cool new app that I don't know if any of you have seen, but the reason I put this on here is because, anybody recognize who that guy is? So this is it's an app that we've got called Into Now, and it's kind of, I guess you could describe it, it's Shazam for video. So if you're watching a video show and you hold your cell phone or your iPad up to the screen, it'll tell you what you're watching. They've got a library of 200 million different videos on there, so you can hold it up to this game, it'll tell you you're watching the NCAA basketball tournament, here are the teams that are playing, but then it gives you a lot of functionality on the side here to share, to find out what your friends are reading. If you're an advertiser, you can actually run an ad here, and you can give up coupons to somebody's cell phone as they're sitting in their chair in front of a TV show. They can walk into a store and redeem it for a free, whatever. So really kind of, new and innovative new products has been one of our hotter ones here, and I had to show it because of your player here. And then I just thought I'd spend a couple minutes on, especially for the students here, if you guys want to get more information on the industry, what's going on. It obviously happens very, very quickly here. Lots of industry sites, and I'll leave this presentation with Dean Eisenhower if you guys want to get any of this stuff, or I can email it to you. You can get these feeds pretty easily. You can go to these websites and check out what's happening in the industry. This is only a small sampling of what's out there. There's media companies you can go to find out what's happening, job postings. There's rich media galleries and things like that. Yahoo, MSN, these are just a few. Obviously, millions and millions of clubs and groups here in Detroit. There are a couple. There's the AdCraft Club of Detroit, which is the ad community. It's one of the oldest in the country. And then there's 313 Digital, which is more of a digital-focused organization. They are very friendly to students. I think they don't charge dues there, and you can really kind of get ingrained and go to classes and see speakers and things like that. And then the last thing I want to do was just kind of, again, if you're even thinking of a career opportunity in this space, this is, we call this the messy slide. There's a company called Luma and Partners, which is a Canadian company that kind of tries to take all the companies in the space and put it on a slide to just show how they all interact together. This is just search. So these are all the players. We've got a marketer on the left side here, a consumer on the right side here. These are all the companies that sit in the middle that kind of try to provide some value or provide some service to search. Same thing for display. These are ad agencies over here on the left. These are, here we are here. These are content providers in the middle. Same thing with video. Same thing with mobile. And same thing with social. So lots of places to go. And you could do a lot of this virtually. So it's not like you have to be in one place. This is digital media. So that's it. I thought I'd just stop. And how are we doing on time? Just about good? See if I can answer questions for anybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. I know the students have to get to class. Yeah.
Oh, I was just wondering if Yahoo does any offline advertising of its own. So do you have an advertising agency that promotes Yahoo, or?
We've done fits and starts of that. We tend to try to eat our own dog food and advertise mostly online. But we've got an ad agency, we've got a PR agency, we've got a strategy agency. So yeah, we tend to try to do most of that stuff online. And a year ago or 2 years ago, we had a really big Yahoo campaign. We tend to do it more vertically. So if we're trying to promote our finance products, we'll be in more vertical media. Same thing with sports. So relative to a big come to Yahoo, we don't really do a lot of that anymore. Yes?
How do you think the privacy issues are going to be resolved or evolve or whatever?
That's a great question. We're kind of right in the middle of it, right? And we've got a lot of internal policies that if we're advertising to somebody, you can click on the ad to sort of see what kind of information we have on you. You can request that we don't target you. You have the ability to kind of delete your cookies if you want to. So, but that's kind of tough. I think the place it could end up going is that the government could mandate that every day or every week or every month, cookies get erased. So all of a sudden, all the information that somebody would have on you goes away, and they have to start over. But that's tough for a consumer too, because as you guys go online and you're doing shopping and you're putting in your credit cards and you're putting in your Delta Airlines number, to go back after the cookies are deleted, you got to re-enter all that information. And the other thing is you tend to get really untargeted ads. So if you're in the market for if you're not in the market for a car and you keep getting bombarded with car ads, because we don't know. So it's a trade-off. I think that more of this Google and Facebook have been in this in the news quite a bit lately, because a lot of their businesses are driven on what they know about consumers. So I think it's a trade-off. It's consumers get a benefit, advertisers get a benefit, the publishing companies get a benefit. I think it's just a matter of equilibrium. I think when it gets too far and people feel like they're being creeped on too much and being targeted too much, they'll push back. And I just think it's kind of a trade-off. It's been in there's bills that kind of come up all the time in Washington, and they somehow get resolved. Then new legislation comes out, and companies tend to comply. So I think it's just going to continue to evolve.
Take one more question.
Okay.
Mark, I think didn't you say that you're right in the middle of the business model for Yahoo, basically how Yahoo makes its money?
Yeah, you could say that.
And what do you think Yahoo is doing? Because they are going through a transition right now. What do you think that they're doing that's really exciting in the field that you're working in?
So I kind of look at the world as, first, the internet's about 30 years old, right? It started in 1994, I think that first ad came up, and it goes back about 10 years before that. We had our 17th anniversary a couple weeks ago. AOL's 25, so that's roughly in the same range. The first dozen years of the internet or so was about getting online, right? You had to get access. First, it was that slow dial-up stuff that, you got the AOL discs and things like that. Now everybody's got connectivity for the most part, fast connectivity. The second part of the internet was about applications. So it was about shopping, learning how to shop online, learning how to search online, social networking applications, and all those things. So what's the next part of the internet going to be about? My view, and a lot of people's view, is now that you've got connectivity and you've got all the tools, you know how to use them, you've got to run content through that, right? When you're searching for something, it's usually you're searching for content. And when you're talking about something on social networks, you're usually sharing content, ultimately, or looking for content. So I think content companies, which we are in a pretty good place going forward. Now the question is, what's quality content on the web? If I were to ask one of the students here what they thought quality content was versus what you thought quality content was, it might be two different. For a 10-year-old girl learning how to do a backflip, it might be somebody from Omaha, Nebraska in her basement with a flip camera showing her how to do a backflip. That would be quality content for her. Whereas if you're doing investing research, you'd want somebody from Forbes magazine who's highly credible giving you that information. So that's where the world is right now. I think it's a big continuum what quality content is, but I think it's all going to be about content.
Great. Thank you, Mark.
Great, Chris, thank you. Appreciate it.